You're hearing from Governor Gavin Newsom for the first time since he announced he appointed Laphonza Butler as the interim senator to replace Dianne Feinstein.
And that is the ability to create a dynamic on the outside that moves the needle on the inside. Few people as skilled as Laphonza Butler to understand that push-pull between those on the outside and how to move things in terms of setting an agenda and actually accomplishing something. So I think she's in many ways more qualified than the vast majority of folks that are in a lot of elected offices.
Butler was the president of a political action committee that works to get Democratic women elected to office.
Yeah, she's recently been living in Maryland. Before that, she did live here in California for several years. While she has deep political experience, she does not have any experience in public office. And let's check in with Isaac Hale right now, who's a politics professor at Occidental College. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate you having us having you today. Really quick, just what do you think about the thing about her not having held public office?
Well, I think this gets right to the question of whether Newsom would appoint a caretaker for the office, someone who would just serve out through the remainder of Feinstein's term ending in 2024, or whether he would appoint someone with future political ambitions. Now, of course, Laphonza Butler could very well run for re-election in 2024 and seek a full term in the Senate seat. But she's certainly not the political powerhouse that the three current candidates, Katie Porter, Adam Schiff, and Barbara Lee are, who are already running for the seat.
Okay, so we did want to ask you, because it's very interesting that he did not ask her to limit this to just this interim term. And he said that the reason that he was going to put that limitation on is to not get involved in this election process that's already well underway. You named the three leading Democratic candidates. But if she decides to run, of course, she would upend that campaign completely. I mean, it completely changes the dynamics.
And she very well could run. She doesn't have a statewide profile yet, but she's going to very quickly develop one. Now, of course, Newsom is a savvy political operator, and he knew he was already getting backlash for his suggestion earlier this year that he might name a caretaker to fill the position. There were many who said that that wasn't a stipulation he placed on Alex Padilla when he filled that seat, and it was unfair to ask that of the candidate he named to replace Senator Feinstein. So he's heard that backlash, but he also, I think, didn't want to wade directly into the showdown between three political powerhouses in California who are currently duking it out for that 2024 seat.
Well, and to that point, I was just going to bring it up. I mean, they are duking it out amongst each other, but now you have this other unknown element here where they may be running against her, although they're not running against her.
Yeah, and there's clearly an open lane for Laphonza Butler should she decide to run. There's a new poll out from Professor Christian Gross down at USC today that shows all of the leading candidates under 20% in the poll, and that's in line with previous polling we've seen from places like IGS at UC Berkeley, suggesting that the field is really far from settled.
Well, let's talk about what we can expect from this time that she will definitely be serving in this office. We know that she has a strong background as a labor organizer. She's worked on abortion rights issues and a close friendship with our former Senator Kamala Harris, now the Vice President. How do you think that might inform the work ahead for her?
I think you could certainly see her focusing on many of those same issues in the United States Senate. Certainly Senator Feinstein was someone who cared deeply about women's rights and abortion, and I expect we will see that carried forward by Senator Butler. In terms of the political ramifications of this, I think it's certainly very interesting that Governor Newsom picked a longtime Kamala Harris ally. Governor Newsom and Vice President Harris go way back in California politics, back to their days in San Francisco, and they've been longtime friends and often rivals in California politics, and may again be rivals in a potential 2028 Democratic presidential primary.
All right, Isaac Hale, thank you for your inputs in all this.
Thank you for having me. Yeah.